Hey there YouTube, this is Tim Judge here. I'm just doing a quick tutorial to show you how to use Blender for some very basic video editing. So the first thing you're going to want to do is switch from 3D view to the video sequence editor. And this will give you a timeline that's basically the same as this timeline down here. I like to do this, split this, and change this from the timeline to the viewer, which will let you see movies that you've done. So the next thing you're going to want to do is pull in some movie clips. Oops, so we're going to go to videos, and I don't know, doesn't really matter, but we'll grab this. Okay. So this one doesn't have any audio. That's okay. Audio will just appear as another. Actually, since that's the case, let's just grab one that does have audio. This should have audio. There we go. So you see we've got this green and this blue one. Alright. You want these to both be on 1. They'll pop in wherever this line is, which is this frame you have selected. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that this is synced up. So if you know the frame rate, that will help, and if you need to change the frame rate, you can change the frame rate right here under the Render Settings tab. Frame rate under Dimensions. So you can change it to Custom or any of these presets. 24 is kind of the standard TV frame rate. So you can see here on the viewer mode, you can see what is actually going to be rendered. Alright. So I'm going to show you two basic functions. One is cutting, and the other one is changing file format for output. So when we scrub through here, we can see all sorts of stuff. But let's say I want to make a cut. I just want to. It doesn't matter where the cut is. So whenever I have something selected, it'll have a white border. And if I hit K, it will split the whole thing into 2 bits, right? So then if I select these two, say hit K, then I can use these two, hit X, erase them, and bring these down right so they touch. So when I grab them with G, if there's a red border, that means that they're overlapping something on the same channel. And when you left clicked to select that grab action or to complete it, they'll snap to the soonest possible point where they fit. The other thing you want to do is increase your end time so that it will actually fill up the whole video thing. So right here, you can see that this whole video is taking 2,440 frames at 24 frames a second. So once you have your editing done and your start and end frame set up, next thing you're going to want to do is look over at output. So Blender will take almost any kind of video input, so you do not have to do anything to tell it to take a particular kind of input. If you drag and drop a video file into the video editor and it loads up, you're good. So what you're going to want to do is change it so you can do any of these movie outputs. Alright, so like let's say you do XVID or something. And then you can come down to encoding. And so there are a bunch of video encoding formats and codecs. And very importantly, the audio codec is set to none by default. So you're going to want to pick the one that's appropriate for you. And then no matter what the input is, if you select the correct outputs and then you hit animate, it will output a video file with that output type and the appropriate encoding format, codec, and audio codec. And that's all there is to very basic video editing. Obviously this is a non-linear editor, so you can move things along the y-axis to other channels. So you can have multiple channels, and there are more advanced things you can do with the Blender video editor, such as wipes, fades, color transitions. You can alpha over, alpha under with if you have some VFX that you want to add or something like that. Blender will also take an image series and turn them into an animation where each next image in the series will take up 1 frame. And that works just like dropping in a video. So if I go to, let's see, Well, this is an image sequence, so if I select all of them and dump them in, you'll see that I now have a little set of images. Oh, I'm sorry, that actually doesn't work that way. You can't drop and drag them in. You have to actually manually Shift A image, and then you can A to select all, and there you go. Now there's a full thing. Remember, what's on top is going to dominate what's on bottom, unless you set it to do something else. So, because this is on a higher channel, it overrides the bottom video images. So, yep, there you go. Yeah, so remember, switch to video sequence editor. I like to split it, you don't have to. Make sure your output is the same as the length of the video that you need. K splits strips. And your output settings are how you change what file type, what format, and what codecs you're using. Alright, well,